Bricks. Let's see. 220. I do 260 store credit. If you want to trade.
Can you do 240 cash?
220, 240 coin flip. That's my best. I can't. I wouldn't do 240, bro. They're only going for 240 online. That's why. So 240 is higher than I usually pay. Payouts 200. It's up to you.
Let's do it.
Was that one of those horrible Zoom bombing things?
No, it wasn't a Zoom bomb. It was.
Thank God. That was terrible.
The Zoom bomb.
Oh my God. I'm serious. That was just terrible.
That was pretty bad last week.
It shocked me.
It shocked.
I signed out. I thought I did because I was on the
Because you were watching it?
Yeah, I was. No, I was watching the council meeting, and I was on the internet at the same time. And I thought, oh my God, I clicked something I shouldn't have, and it startled me at first. I signed on and signed right back in, and it was still there. And I was like, oh my God, what the hell is happening? It was just terrible business.
So for people that don't know, Raylene's talking about last week. Well, first off, thank you.
I didn't even know anything like that could happen. I was like totally dumbfounded by it, truthfully.
Yeah, it's happened a couple times. So just want to say thank you to everybody for watching the Barre Beat podcast live from Raylene's basement and Fly in the Wall Productions. Just want to say thank you for watching. Been a long time since we've been on air. There's been some things that have come up. What we're chatting about right now is actually the Zoom bomb from last week.
On the council meeting.
Correct. It was a little inappropriate.
A little?
It was like
extremely inappropriate.
So it's
like
it was.
Listen, if you can make me blush, hey.
It is true. So I'm not going to lie to you. I look at that and I think to myself, in the society that we're in, we have like completely lost all our moral compasses. And I just look at that and I'm thinking to myself, yeah, I'm not surprised this is happening. And when people,
you weren't,
I was like,
who does that?
People that are deranged.
Good Lord.
But yeah, it was for those that don't know.
And I'm no prude.
Video.
I'm like far from a prude. And I was like, holy hell, what is going on?
It was so what was funny though is so just for context, it was somebody had played a video of
pornographic video.
Correct. Of people doing things to themselves. But the funny part was we went into not visitors and communications, but it was during when Carol was talking, which you could tell she was definitely a little
rattled,
shaken up by that. And I thankfully I was at home because I did.
Because when you get nervous, you laugh.
Yeah, I don't. I'm like, okay. And it what goes. This is what I look like when I see that coming across. I'm just like, whatever. It's unfortunate because what's really unfortunate is that was streaming live.
Right.
That was streaming live.
And some people have their kids watching.
Correct.
With them.
Yeah. Rachel Nelson has her kids.
I know.
And
that's terrible.
It is. And I don't know if she was watching that night, but
let's hope she wasn't.
Yeah, no, she hasn't been around for a while, so I haven't seen. But yeah, I mean, she was one that has kids. There's a lot of people that have kids, and
even some of the older people watching. My goodness.
True. Well, that's the other thing.
Listen, my grandmother would have had a flat-out heart attack.
Ladies watching from home, CVTV. And not everybody that's watching on CVTV live at home is little old ladies.
I was going to say, what are you implying?
Do you watch it live from home? You watch it on Zoom.
The link.
Yeah, you watch it on the
Zoom
link.
Yeah.
So anyway, the point is that, you know, it was pretty terrible. And then we were talking about grab and go, and it was and I can't even remember. It was
Right.
it was some sort of not warrant, but a license to do entertainment. And Carol it was like a grab and go thing, and Tom cracked, you know, maybe not the best time to talk about grab and go.
Right.
And of course, I mean, that's kind of funny.
Well,
it was kind of funny when he
was
said
just trying
that,
to-
and
he was trying to help
lighten the
situation.
mood. So it
Yes.
like threw me off for the rest of the meeting.
It threw everybody off.
Yeah, it did.
It very much threw everybody off.
It's unfortunate that people
And thankfully, Teddy handled it
Yes.
super quick. He's very good at that. He took care of it right away. Got rid of the person right away. And yeah,
no, and
whoever the asshat was.
Yes, is a loser. So Josh is asking about the discoloration in water. We have been flushing the pipes, and that's the reason why the water looks like that. When I spoke to Nicholas last week, it should be going away. Like, I'm pretty sure he's done with flushing. They're done with flushing the water.
And I have seen posts that even from those that were, you know, talking about it pretty much on a daily basis about how horrible it was. I have seen posts that it is getting better.
So
even in those areas,
I was incorrect. Its flushing water system continue through this week, and for those that were getting bottled water, there's no more bottled water up at the auditorium. So hopefully the flushing.
But there are other
will
places to get bottled water. Enough ministries. I think over at the church there are places that are getting water.
Is your dog licking?
Probably. Oliver, cut it out.
Not licking my feet, because if the dog was licking my feet, I'd shoo it away.
Are we not on the community fan page?
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
We've got 13 people watching from
I
there.
thought so. I don't know what JD's problem is. He's like, I can't see you yet.
Sorry.
Who knows?
I don't know what to say.
Oh, you know, he's
But-
probably looking for us on Aired Out because we're getting ready for that transition.
This is true. So
And
we will be transitioning over to Aired Out as well. Part of the Fly in the Wall Productions is I'm part of that team, so I'll be going over and streaming from from Aired Out as well. So eventually we're going to get around to that. And no, your water will not be discounted. Sorry. So the debris pickup, the residential debris pickup could not be finished and will stretch into this week. For residential, non-residential, commercial, that is all over with. And FEMA is still at the auditorium. And for folks that don't know, you have until September 12th to file with FEMA for any issues. And I understand that it's been over a month, and I do apologize for the water issue. That being said, yeah, it's been a long time.
It has been.
It's been a very long time since we've had a Barre beat. So I guess we'll do a little like rundown of some of the council meetings that we've had. So did we talk about splitting up the committees? I don't know if did we talk about that? I don't think we did.
I don't think we did talk about that.
It's been that long.
Yeah.
So earlier this month, we decided to split up the cemetery and the recreation. And the reason why is because granted it's a park, and I remember, and I don't know if you remember as a kid, did you ever go to the cemetery to have a picnic?
No, but we did go on there. We did go to the cemetery several times, like on class trips, and I had a couple of art teachers bring us there to do rubbings with the crayons. You put the piece of paper on and do things like that. But no, I've never gone and had a picnic in the cemetery.
I remember my grandmother taking me to the cemetery to have a picnic, and my mom, we used to go to my stepfather's cemetery for picnics, and just something that people used to do a long time ago, but apparently not when you were younger.
No, I mean,
but
when I was younger, I mean, in all fairness, my mom didn't have a car for a very long time when we were young. And then when she did, she just worked all the time. I mean, we walked everywhere. And so we wouldn't have ever walked all the way to Hope Cemetery, probably.
Yeah. Well, that didn't happen. We would actually picnic way down in the bottom part. Mm-hmm. It was nice down there.
Yeah.
But anyway, so the reason why I say that is because there's not really that much crossover between cemeteries and recreation.
Right.
Right. One is dealing with people that have passed away, and one is dealing with basically very lively young children. Right. So we decided to split them up, and that's what we did. Now there's two committees. One committee is cemeteries, and the other one is the recreation part. So I'm really glad Giuliano Ceccanelli wanted to. He had actually messaged me on that, asking me to look into that, and I thought it was a great idea. Mm-hmm. As for those planning on withholding their water payments, the answer is no. I would not recommend doing that because you will still get charged.
Right. And I mean, they're going to do a reduced rate for a certain length of time, or I thought because of the overuse in the cleanup, but that has nothing to do with.
So if there was for example, Bob, he had some issues with his sprinkler system. Where those kind of issues, or
our landlord,
right?
The water ran and ran and ran for 48 hours.
For those issues, we're going to abate those, just automatically abating them. But we're not going to abate just because that's not how it's going to work.
And people go under boil water notices all the time.
Right. Thank you, Connie. She said she used to ride her bikes and have a picnic at Hope too. So. Yeah. Makes me feel better. I'm not the only person.
No, I mean, I go there now and have coffee with my mom. So,
well, see, there you go.
Same thing, kind of,
Another thing that we can cover is that we decided not to act on ARPA at this time. Mm-hmm. We're deferring it to the budget season, and we'll have the conversation then. Quite frankly, my thoughts on the ARPA situation, it's not something that I'm willing to invest money into all those things right now because
we don't know what we're going to need.
Yeah. I mean, the
Lord only knows.
I know that West Patterson is not going to reopen. Based on information I have, which is really sad. There's been a lot of
discussion about that because that's a direct evacuation route for Spalding High School. And what it is doing to the traffic is crazy. Because a lot of people that would, from the south end would go up West Patterson and to go home. And then some people down Air Street. And so there's a lot of concern about that, and there's a lot of concern for Air Street and that not reopening. Yeah.
So that's that for the the ARPA. And Peter Anthony came in and gave a little update on the trestle. They're looking to take down that trestle. So for folks that don't know, there's a train trestle behind Cumberland Farms. I remember as a kid legally crossing it. But that was a long time ago, so you can't get me into trouble for it. But he's working on getting that completely removed. And the reason why is because it's kind of like a trash rack. It's actually causing the things to collect debris and slows down the water, and then the water overflows. Of course, I'm a believer in dredging. So even though a lot of people are like, well, you can't dredge the river, I'm like, I don't really care.
Yeah, some people say it's not the answer, but I mean, you have to wonder and think and believe that after all of these floods over the last several years, that the riverbeds have built up, and there's a lot of
they have. They absolutely have.
So we need to take them out a bit. At least make some pools or ponds along the way.
So the issue at hand is that the stuff comes down. Stuff comes down, it stays there. We need to dredge that river. That's my personal opinion. And people will be like, well, you don't have an environmental, blah, 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 blah.
I know, but it seems like
I'm just going to say
sense.
this. I think we stopped dredging in the 70s. I think that's what someone told me. I would love to see pictures of what it looked like then and what it looks like now.
Well, homes and lives, homes and human lives, or blue frogs and lizards.
Well, I think
no brainer, right?
The issue is that people are saying that it's not because of the river, that the river has not, it's not because of the river sediment. The reason why is because of, development in other areas. The problem with that comment is that, it happened in a lot of parts of the state, in areas that like Middlesex doesn't have a lot of developed areas. And I know somebody at the bottom of one of those roads that it was totally washed out. I mean, her house is...
Right, they lost everything.
Yeah, exactly. And that's
you did
certainly...
some drone footage, didn't
I
you?
did. Yeah. I did do some drone footage. And, is there some grain of truth? Well, absolutely. I mean, impervious structures, but the modern way of, you have to do retention pools and everything else.
The same people that bitch about overdeveloping are the same people that are bitching that there's no housing.
That is true.
What are you going to do with everyone?
That is very true.
Gee, I don't know. Start building tree houses, I guess. I don't know.
So we did approve the municipal tax rate on August 15th. I didn't do July 25th, which was pretty much not all that exciting as well, which we authorized the manager to execute a contract with AC Disaster Consulting. They're going to help us with the work with FEMA. They're a consulting firm. I feel like we did talk about this. Did we talk about this?
I think so.
Okay. I can't remember.
I don't remember either.
Okay, so we'll go back to the municipal tax agreement rates. We approved that. We did have a discussion about water rates, which I'm not going to get involved in that. And tomorrow night we have the discussion of flood repair paving bid, which is, it's going to be the same provider that we currently have. So there's no big excitement out of that. So you want to talk about the behavioral ad hoc committee?
Yes, I do. Actually,
let's do that. Let's do it. I was pretty ripped. I'm not going to lie to you. I was very unhappy about the fact that I thought for sure that the behavioral ad hoc committee would pass. It had literally the seal of good housing, good house. What is it? Good home.
Good housekeeping.
Housekeeping seal from the attorney, literally saying, "I love that you're doing this, and it's great." And then it failed.
Well, apparently the entire board didn't love.
I know
that you were doing that, but I mean, you have to ask yourself why. I mean, people must want to know why. Why would you not want that? I don't understand. I don't understand why you wouldn't want to look at the issues just for retention alone in your staff. Why wouldn't you want to look at the problems and see if things could be done differently, if they're doing things the way that policies are written, if things are being followed through with? I don't understand what the harm in that is.
I don't know. All the stuff that was in that behavioral ad hoc was completely FOIA-able. You could FOIA everything that they were going to do. It was really frustrating with... Oh, sorry about that. Thank you for pointing that out. Can you talk there, Raylene?
Of course.
Okay. Not sure what happened.
I don't know either.
But
you just muted me because you were scared shitless of what I was going to say.
That is very possible. I was very disappointed on how it went down. Nancy voted for it, Nancy LeClaire, and obviously I did, and obviously Terry did, who worked on it with me. He put a lot of work into it. It was so, I got so frustrated. Like, I felt like some people that were, and obviously we found out that was the case, that people that were fighting it didn't even read the charge document, which was really frustrating for me. Because someone had mentioned, there's not going to be any professionals. And I'm like, well, a principal is a professional, and
right.
3 teachers is a professional, and a behavioral interventionist is a professional. So
right.
The only non-professional would be the 2 school board members, which I didn't talk to one of them in advance. I mean, obviously Terry would have been the right pick for one, and the other right pick would have probably been Chris Barker, because that's what she does. So you've got that, and then the one community member, which the board would obviously have to choose someone that was a professional in the field, had some sort of experience. But we didn't even get that far, because there was only 3 against what? I think everybody voted no.
Yeah, I wish no. I understood what the fear of having the committee was. I don't understand what the fear is.
And I don't understand either. I know that there was, concern coming forth from Chris, saying that, he wanted to, so he didn't give specifics, but he said some of the admin had some concerns, which was not expressed at all. Like, there was no, what are the concerns? And then I was annoyed by that point, because then he said, we're gonna do a presentation on this week.
I don't
We're gonna
blame
do
you.
a full presentation, and I'm like, I don't trust you at this point, and I didn't say that, but I mean, I did say that. I'm like, you said you were gonna do it before, and you haven't done it before, so
right.
I think we should move forward.
Right.
And then, so that's what I did, and it was voted no. And so anyway, we're supposed to get an update this Wednesday, and I was expecting like a full agenda item. Guess what I got?
What did you get? An honorable mention?
An honorable mention? I don't even think I got an honorable mention. I don't even think you can say honorable mention. Literally, it was tucked away into the building reports. It was tucked away into the building reports. I was so pissed. I'm not gonna lie. I sent an email. I'm like, I am very angry right now with this, and I can't even talk to you. I was so angry over it. It made me so livid.
How does it even belong in that section?
So I will pull it up. Mm-hmm. I will pull up the reports. Just give me a few minutes. Talk amongst yourselves.
Well, yeah.
Oh wait, there's no talking amongst yourselves.
It would be nice to know like what else is in there.
Oh, I should just go to my Facebook page because I posted it.
Yeah, probably you should.
That would probably be a great idea.
That may work out better for you.
That might work out because I won't have to search hard for
so
it.
Long.
Yeah, because I circled it. The three pages that only have a paragraph in it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anyway, so let's see here. So the BC EMS was, and this is what it says: we have multiple support staff to add to our dynamic team. Our outstanding positions, I don't even think that is part of it. So this is the detailed report. We continue to plan professional development around student performance to best help our students learn. We need to build relationships with them and help them find connection to our community. We are committed to unified school community that is focused on Barre Way to be kind, safe, and responsible. We are using practices from PBIS, Developmental Designs, DD, and Responsive Classroom to best support students that struggle at times with academic and behavioral expectations. All staff are part of supporting students. As matters arise, classroom teachers should be first point of contact, school counselors and behavioral support to follow, with administration included for persistent and egregious behavior. That's BCEMS. For Barre Town, it's behavioral teams information. Currently, our assistant principal, Ted Mills, oversees the majority of discipline-related activities at BTEMS. He is supported by the staff of our student support centers, which consist of 5 staff members for an entirety of the building. At BTMES, I keep on messing that up, discipline data is tracked through IC, which allows us to comply with state-mandated reporting each year. We also backtrack visits to our student support centers and support the middle school. We currently use Responsive Classroom Elementary, Developmental Design, which is that DD thing, Positive Behavioral Intervention, and supports our team framework. I apologize, it's small and I can't read. The summer, both the elementary PBIS team and the middle level SEL team met for 2 days to map out the social emotional learning for the year. And then central office, BUUSD, discipline policies and procedures. Speaking of policies, you will notice this month's building reports that our principals address where we are currently at each school with behavioral discipline matters. We will be prepared to address each of the following issues at next week's board meeting. Current personnel at each school who address discipline behavioral issues, current status of open behavioral support positions on our teams, how we are tracking discipline data at each school, status and some details on PBIS, development designs, 6 seconds, I don't know what that is, and how they will be implemented, highlights and any changes to our student handbooks and discipline matters. For reference, here is the link to BUSD policy website, and a particular relevant is interest on C2, C5, C10, C12, C15, C70. That's it. And that is what I got instead of a behavioral ad hoc committee. Isn't that wonderful?
No. I mean, no.
I'm
it's not.
sure the individuals that have been clamoring about behavioral issues are super excited. I can read some of the comments on my page.
I know. I was going to say, and some of the thing is that some of the comments actually come from teachers that are
so
they feel so unsupported, and they feel like things are out of control, and they need help.
Right.
And they're asking for help.
Right. And that's the thing. Like, the behavioral ad hoc committee was, and students are the concern that I have is our teachers are being abused.
Mm-hmm.
Period. I've heard horror stories, and there was some comments
Me too.
on my page about teachers being assaulted, and that's not okay. You know, and
let's make this clear, because I know two of these teachers that have one in Barre City and one in Barre Town that have experienced this. Actually, an assault can mean many different things.
Correct.
Spit on.
That's let me
That's
tell you
an
something.
assault.
I'd rather have somebody punch me than spit on me.
Me
That's
too.
Gross.
It's an assault,
Yeah.
and it's disgusting, and it needs to be addressed. But instead, it's not. It's addressed in like, well, what is going on with that student? What is their home life like? What is this? I understand that there are those needs, but having the discipline, having a little bit of discipline, and if you're not being taught respect at home, then let's teach it at school, that those sorts of things are not tolerated in life.
Right.
If you were to spit,
because it's not tolerated in life. Because when you get older, you spit on someone, you're going to suffer consequences.
Right, exactly. It's an assault. You can be charged with assault. And it just blows my mind that the constant that we hear is that we need to do this at the school level because some children their parents don't care. Their parents aren't as active, and I understand all of that. Then let's teach them what's proper. Let's teach them the right way. Not that it's okay for them to keep doing this because they have shitty parents.
Right. And I have a real struggle putting our teachers in the line of fire.
Lighting up like crazy.
Your phone is lighting up?
Yes, I probably am in trouble already.
I have a real problem putting our teachers in the line of fire. And the thing is that there might not be anything else we can do. That is a possibility, right? It might just be, there's nothing that can be done because we're doing all the things that we need to do. And the purpose of the Behavioral Ad Hoc Committee would be to bring that to light if that's the case. But, when I'm hearing from teachers that we're not teachers, I'm not talking about parents, which, parents have their own, struggles and, views on things. But when teachers come to me and say, hey, there's a problem, kicking this off to a separate entity to do the work on this, to find out if what they're saying is true, is really important. And unfortunately, we missed the boat on that. And I think that what the report is that we're getting is certainly not the substantial report that I was hoping for. And it's not even an agenda item. And I think that's what really irks me about it, is it's not even an agenda item. It was tucked away into the school reports. Well, and maybe it also could be, I'm not familiar with how the school runs on that level. I know that I'm going to be spending a hell of a lot more time in the school. I have every intention to start going into classrooms and seeing how, things are going. And Tomorrow they have lunch for the new teachers. I'm going to that. And I'm already planning on going to the for BCEMS, which there was someone on Jean's
Yes.
post that said we should, and I plan on going in. It's really important.
And also important is retention means stability for our kids. And if there's a constant revolving doors of staff and staff shortage, and then that creates just as big of a problem, even more so of a problem. And so learning how to support these teachers and figuring out what it is that needs to be done to keep a classroom in line the way it was when I was in school. It certainly was when I was in school. I can't ever imagine spitting at a teacher, swearing at a teacher, throwing a chair.
Well, so I think part of that, though, is like...
It blows my mind.
Yeah. Well, parents, I mean, if you did that, your mom or dad would probably cold cock you.
Yes. But there were consequences. There was detention, there was in-school suspension, there was out-of-school suspension. There was, maybe we had to do some sort of community service within the school. There were consequences for our actions, other than sometimes I feel like there's a lot more coddling now than there ever was. We can't, but he has a problem, and his parents stop making excuses. There's no excuse for being disrespectful. There's just not.
I've got to point this comment out. 2 comments from Victoria Johnson. 1, there was too many kids all thrown together in one building. Bring back community level schools. And let me just tell you, I am fully in agreement of that. I love the local neighborhood schools. Unfortunately, they're super expensive, and the city decided to move away from them to the detriment to our community, I think. It certainly made a difference. And I think, the other aspect of it is, back then, there was a lot of, I'm going to get into trouble. There was a lot of stay-home moms that would go to the schools and help out as well. And I think that made a huge difference. And for those that...
See, I never had that in the schools.
You never had that?
No, and I mean, I went to the same schools as you, but kind of. I mean, I was in... we went to Ward 5, then to North Barre for only 1 grade, and then to Spalding graded, and then over to the high school, of course. And my mom always worked. Sometimes I was a latchkey kid. I mean,
so wasn't I.
My mom always worked, usually multiple jobs. We came home after school. We knew we had certain things that had to be done before she got home. At night, while she was cooking dinner, that's when we did our homework. She could run back and forth to the table, to the stove, whatever. We finished up after supper. We had our TV time, whatever. Shower, get our ass to bed. There was a huge routine. And but I don't remember even having volunteers in these classrooms and stuff.
We did. And it's interesting. One of the volunteers, that was graded school, but one of the volunteers was actually Joellen Mulvaney. So there was a lot of volunteers that I remember growing up. I want to say, I can't remember their names, but Mrs. Putney was there. There was quite a few. There was quite a few when I was growing up. And Victoria also mentions that teachers used to.
And now they have all kinds of. They don't have parents per se, but they have plenty of support people in the classrooms. That's true, for sure.
But
the support staff is there.
I'll say this: there's a huge difference between having a support staff and your mom in the class.
Oh, absolutely. Your mom, but if it was somebody else's mom, what did you think of that?
I just thought of like, why don't we like pay moms to come into the class? And this sounds really sexist. I'm just talking about moms only, and I'm sorry.
Well, to say parent.
A parent.
Yeah, because my father would have kicked my ass as quick as my mom. Yeah. I mean, we definitely our household was not a wait and see your father gets home kind of household, though. It was when your mother gets home. She was the authority in our house for sure. We definitely, when my mom spoke, we listened. Not that we didn't listen to my dad, but my dad could have probably said, you wait until your mother gets home. And we would have been scared shitless. I mean, it's just the way it went. And she didn't like beat on us or anything. She wasn't like horrible. We certainly got spankings, and we survived. Imagine that. But there were consequences. Go to bed early. You can't. There were all kinds of things that you wouldn't be able to do. There were definitely consequences, and I feel like there's no consequences for anything anymore. Not even with adults in crimes.
Oh well, that's definitely true. That I'll chalk that up to poor Montpelier politicians. They all need to be replaced. I'll just say that.
Well,
except for Gina Galfetti.
And
not Gina Galfetti or Topper McFawn.
Well, the thing is, and it's the upbringing of the people that are currently getting into politics. It's that age group where they live totally different life than you and I. I mean, even my kids.
They suckled too long?
They suckled way too long. And no, the coddle, the everybody gets a trophy kind of mindset.
That's my generation. Everybody got a trophy. Well, no, I was on like the cusp of the everybody gets a trophy generation. Like, I
definitely was not
in between.
You worked for what you had. Well, I mean, if you're
Generation Xer. I'm on the middle ground. I was like,
you're a cross between
the generation millennial and the generation X.
Mm-hmm.
So I got like, not only was I, a child that stayed out until the lights came on, but I also learned how to use a cell phone and a computer and everything else. And we're the most dangerous generation.
And I don't think I don't think that about everybody. I just think that there was a good share of that had come into play already. Like Sarah Preachant isn't that way. I know how she grew up, and she grew up the same way as my kids.
Yeah. I'm seeing that John Anderson posted here, and I'm just thinking we got into trouble at our school.
Yeah, we did too, though. We did too.
He went to school with me up until, I don't think he went to Spalding with me. But yeah. Alice is saying, let me tell you about the baby boomers.
With the nuns in the classrooms and the rulers and I mean, school used to be super strict.
I'm not opposed to the rulers.
The paddle, the corner, the dunce cap. Can you imagine putting a dunce cap on a kid now and making him go to the corner? Oh my! All hell would break loose.
It would. Although, and now we're getting into there's not much to say about the
culture war and time lapse and
There's unfortunately not much to say about the behavioral ad hoc. It's dead. I'm just really depressed about that.
It's just super sad that it's dead because it's it could have some really great things could have come out of it.
Yeah. And like I said, I mean, it could have come out,
and for all of you too.
We for all we know,
everything is fine.
Everything is fine, and we're doing the best thing that we could possibly do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right, but you'll never know.
Yeah, you're right. We will never know. Unless I do a FOIA and create my own committee.
Well, why don't you?
FAFO.
Why don't you?
Say
Look
it.
around, find out. Why don't you? I mean, why wouldn't you? If it's something
tempting.
Don't be tempted. Just
the problem is
do it.
I mean, the issue is that just to me it feels like then I'm doing that to punish.
Well, you're not doing it to punish, but if you truly are that passionate about it, and you know that there are some teachers that are quite passionate about it, and if you could be the one person that stands up and says, okay, I'm going to support you and do this for you, that's a big deal.
Yeah. Yeah. It would be nice. I don't know. We'll see. A part of me is hopeful that in like a month, some people come around and be like, you know what? Actually, let's do that. That's what I'm hoping. I don't have a lot of faith that that's going to happen, but I'm kind of hopeful.
You can do like I do. Okay, this is what I do with my life and my son and his addiction. Okay, I always hope, but I never ever hold my breath.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. That thing was down, so I've got 2 other things that I'm going to push for. One of them is getting rid of Articles 3 and 4.
Which are?
So Articles 3 and 4 are the ones that prevent the actual merging of our schools. We did a I don't know what kind of, we did this we're merging, but they never really merged the schools, because if they merge the schools, first graders would be in together versus Barre Town and Barre City's first graders. It should all be one first grade. And the benefits of that is that, Victoria talked about class sizes. It would actually go down, although our class sizes are pretty small compared. There's very few that are very large. As Alice mentioned, there was like 50 kids in one class, but
I can't imagine being in a class that huge.
That was back a long time ago.
Wow.
If that was the case.
Wow.
The average class size now, I think, is about 15 to 18 kids. At least that's what I remember. And so anyway, the 20 is the max. I think the max is like 23. It depends on the grade.
Yeah.
It really depends on the grade. But and now I got distracted and lost my train of thought, which happens a lot. Where was I going with that? Do you remember?
And the merging.
Oh, yeah, the merging. Okay. So, and it just makes it so that we can actually do that. The difference in busing a kid from Barre City and busing a kid to Barre Town, it's like 2 miles, 5 minutes
It's not,
at the max.
Right.
There's no reason for us not to merge those grades together. The efficiencies alone and the trigger warning equity of doing that is very apparent and needs to be done.
Listen, I just had visions of Heather Slayton's head like spinning around on top of her shoulders and like smoke blowing out her ears. Yes. It's a good thing she's in Alabama. She knows where I live.
She is. It is a good thing that she's in.
She'd be in here right now.
No, they're not both in Barre Town. BCEMS is in Barre City. But yeah, no, she would be. She would be here.
She knows where I live. You'd be in big
I'd be in
trouble.
a lot of trouble. But she's not, so it's all good. So there's that. And then, of course, I want to get a survey of the teachers, get some feedback. So I'm moving on to those 2 items and I'm not leaving the behavioral ad hoc, but, I'm just going to, I can't do anything until we get different school board members on there. And, I saw a post that said, what was it? I saw a post somewhere and it says, something about school board, it's about next school board election or something like that. And, and you know what it is? You have to ask your school board members, hey, where do you stand on these issues?
Right.
And if they don't stand on those issues where you stand, then you should not be voting for them, no matter how much you dislike the other individual. Right. That may stand where you stand. I mean, I've vote for people that I loathe, but, I know what they believe and I will vote for them because of what they're going to do.
Right.
That's just me. How would I merge those grades? I would just merge them. We put them together. So it's no different than picking someone up on the north end and on the south end and putting them in the same grade. You would just be picking them up on Barre City, Barre Town, and just carting them to that place. Those buses go through Barre City. It would be the
majority of the Barre Town's buses. Yes,
it would be. You would have to split it up by grades. So maybe like 1 through 5th would be at, BCEMS, and then 5th through 8th would be at Barre Town, something like that. I don't have those details. That comes after we get rid of the articles. So I wouldn't be able to give that, and that would be something that the staff would have to actually do the work on that, because they're the ones that deal specifically with busing. And it just, I know some people don't like that, but Victoria says she doesn't like it. So I get it. There's, some people don't like it. Heather doesn't.
Oh no, like I told you, it's a good damn thing that she's in Alabama.
Yeah, it's true. And then, so, but yeah, that's all I got really. Now that we've complained about, do you have anything exciting you want to talk about?
Victoria says more mixing of behavioral issues. But yeah, I don't know. Those issues are going to be in both places no matter what, because I'm sorry, but I'm a firm believer that it doesn't matter what side of the tracks you come from. There's problems across the board, and some we are very aware about and some we're not. Yeah.
And, there's some, consideration
and is there a
into this,
difference in the problems? Sure. There may be some differences, but there's still problems.
Yeah.
But we heard from people from both schools on your posts of teachers that really
there's problems
felt
across the board.
Right.
Hopefully we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But that's all I got for city stuff. What do you got? You got anything?
No, not really.
You want to talk about, fun things?
Not really. Fun things? Like what? Like things like...
Like, do you think we're going to have a president that's in jail?
No. I don't think we're going to have a president that's in jail. I think we may get a president that has been indicted or maybe on trial or...
Both of the candidates. I think Joe Biden.
No, one of them is one of them should be going to an insane asylum, because he clearly is
Should I mute
fucking
you?
Demented.
Oh
Did
my
you
goodness.
mute me? Did you
No,
really
I
mute
didn't.
me?
I didn't mute you.
Listen, he has Alzheimer's. I'm telling you right now. Straight up dementia.
This is what I think is going to happen. This is my prognostication. We're going to have the option of 2 jailbirds. And it's all said and done. We'll have an option of 2 jailbirds.
Let's just put them in a rubber room together and let them fight it out. Trump and Biden. Who comes out? You know?
Oh, man, that would be amazing.
You never know.
Hurry, hurry, hurry. Oh, wait, no, it's wrong. What's
That's
the...
Buck's Furniture.
Yeah, you're right. That is... What is that? What is he... in this corner. What is he?
Yeah.
What,
I don't know.
Come down, I don't know.
JD's damn C, not
Yeah,
me.
I don't know anything.
You know, he
about
does
that
the
stuff.
fights.
That would be fun, though. I would go to that. I'd pay good money for that.
You would.
I would. I would pay good money to see those 2 duke them out.
Well, we know.
Ready?
We already know
Ready?
that Biden can't debate anybody. I mean, the guy is like clearly lost
Both
his
of them.
freaking mind.
And the other one would be like,
Are you imitating JD?
no.
Oh.
That was Trump.
Oh. Well, you were doing the little arms, so I wasn't sure the dino with the little arms.
And this was Joe Biden.
Yeah.
So I've pissed everybody off.
I'm not even sure if Joe Biden could remember how to throw a punch.
Can we have somebody younger in general? You know, maybe not octogenarians.
I don't know. When I look at, you know, I can't say is when I run down the list of people running that I'm like, oh my God, I got to vote for that person. Just saying.
Just saying.
No. Now, if it was the city that we're talking in
Oh,
upcoming elections.
Upcoming elections for
Here,
the city?
Michael's going to mute me now.
I don't know what you're saying, Raylene. I would never mute you. I would never mute you. Never, 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 never.
Yeah. Like, do you want? I could give you my list of candidates.
I could give you my list of candidates off. Why did JD say F off?
Because I was picking on his little arms.
Oh.
Because when you were imitating like that, I thought that you were talking about JD.
Well, if I was gonna imitate JD, I'd have to grab that light lampshade behind you, put it on my head, and like. That's not happening. I'm not going to imitate him that way.
All right.
I think we're done. Wasn't he? Didn't he? Isn't that what you guys talked about?
What?
The lampshade? Didn't he come to like the door with a lampshade on his head?
Not a lampshade. He had underwear, Crocs, and a headlamp. He walks around.
A headlamp.
He always has. Listen, it's like his attire for at home. As soon as he gets home, he takes off his pants and his shirt, and he puts a freaking headlight. No, he puts a headlamp on.
A lampshade on.
No.
Oh my goodness, I like mine better.
He literally does everything with a headlamp on. He wears a headlamp in the house all the time. Like
my brother-in-law has a headlamp on all the time too.
Yep, most people come home again, their comfy clothes, their PJs. Nope, not JD. He takes all his clothes off, puts his headlamp and Crocs on.
I mean, the Crocs.
It's frightening.
I thought it was cowboy boots.
Oh no, he was
skibbies and
he was wearing that
and
the
a
other
lampshade.
day. No, and a headlamp. The other day when his friend showed up, he
okay.
had cowboy boots on, his tight friggin' boxer underwear, and his headlamp. His cowboy boots.
This has gone sideways, hasn't it? Has this gone sideways? Yeah, it has. I think it's gone sideways.
Yeah.
With that, hey,
We better go.
We better go. We're all done.
We're getting overtired.
We're getting
now.
way tired.
We're just being dumbasses now.
Yes.
Love
Although
you all.
Some night we will have to talk about national politics.
Oh, absolutely.
That'd be a lot of fun.
Absolutely. We'll get my dad down here. No, let's not. You know what he'll say? The whole fucking world's going to hell.
A handbasket. Sometimes I feel like that's the case in Barre City.
Yeah, me too.
Sometimes
it's
I feel
gonna
like
get
that.
better.
It will.
I promise you.
I am pretty positive that it's
It's
going to get better too.
better.
All right. With that, Please don't send me pics, JD. I really don't want to see those nasty pics. I have a picture of you dressed up in the Elf Clown outfit, and let me tell you,
you had
not
nightmares.
okay. I had nightmares. Yeah, you know, that was too tight. That was way too tight. Like, I was way too tight, my friend. That was way too tight. I'm just saying, too tight. Too tight. Too tight to be out in public. Too tight to be anywhere but at home with your wife. With that, I want to say thank you to everybody for watching the Barry Beat podcast live from Raylene's basement.
Have a great night.
Have
Love
a great
y'all.
evening.